Here's a 3-layer cake of Bitcoin price analysis for Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Are you ready? Let's go. The first layer of the cake is what you're seeing on the chart. I am on the 1 hour time frame. The orange line here is the 1 hour 200 EMA. I really have a strong opinion that any type of short-term time frame analysis that doesn't involve the 1 hour 200 is simply not complete. And you can see from the 69K top, anytime you get above it, we're dropping below. Get to it, rejection. Get above it, drop below. Get above it, drop below. Get above it, so on and so forth. With one exception, you did get above it, and he had one more pump. Actually, 2 more little pumps, and then drop below. That was the only exception since back in November of last year. And guess what has just happened? Same thing. Got above it, went below it. Got above it, went below it. Got above it, went below it. Still has not been used as support. Guess what also hasn't been happened related to my other midterm Bitcoin analysis from yesterday. A higher low on the daily RSI. Therefore, because it lost this support, it makes it much, much, much more unlikely that you get a more sustained pump, given that there is no higher low on the daily RSI still. It's more likely that this trend line, which has also been acting as the support, which has been the support, now that it's being resistance, it's likely that it looks like it could come up and use the 1 hour 200 as resistance, fall back below this support line, and then drop down as one very likely option. It doesn't have to happen that way, but without a daily high or low on the RSI, it's seeming to be shaping up that the 1 hour 200 will now be acting as resistance. However, there are other things on this chart. I have them labeled. So the main idea is that you want to draw this trend line. If you see price using this as resistance, all right, and the daily candle closes, I mean that's likely going to be a setup for a bigger drop down to 35K. However, if Bitcoin price can get back above this trend line, all right, that I have shown here, you need to draw this on your chart. I would say the next area that price will race up to is the monthly open. Bitcoin likes to recheck the openings of larger candles, whether it's the daily or sometimes even 4 hours. It loves gravitating back towards it, even if it just heads back the other way. But that would be my next target. If price on the short-term time frames can get above that, use it as support, then I would say it's going to retest this trend line and then move back up. There are a few things that could happen, but I am thinking pressure is to the downside now that this both the 200 and this trend line have been lost, and the origin line here going back, to 2011. This is actually the master origin line. And Bitcoin might use all the 3 things at once. The orange line is 1. The pink line, the trend line is 2. The origin line is 3. You got a lot of crap right here. If he uses all 3 as resistance, that could set up for a fairly hefty drop, which is much needed in order to get a 2 candle daily correction to the downside, or a 1, 2, 3 candle correction to get a low or a higher low on the daily RSI if Bitcoin's going to have the ump to come up. We got a lot of overhead stuff that is now there because Bitcoin broke that support. It's going to be hard to get back on top, and these are the things that this is 1 layer of 3 that you need to be looking out for. And what we're going to do next is I'm going to throw on slightly larger time frame, about a 2 hour, 4 hour range, to show you how it also aligns. There's more stuff layered on this. There's more confluence here, and then I'm going to do the macro range layered on top of this, and you can see we're also on things that have been relevant since February of last year. There's a lot of stuff happening with Bitcoin price right now, which could be why it's very flighty and floaty and is having trouble doing anything right now, really. And even with stock markets having a great rebound, Bitcoin's not having a very great rebound, right? Because there's so much stuff in play. And I want to get through this video with me to see how layering on 3 different levels it's all aligning. It's really quite fascinating. And before we continue with this jumping into there, let's make sure we take a quick moment, help out your freaking content creator, hit the thumbs up so you can help the algo help me. It's essentially helping me help you, and what's going to help out even more so I can continue making videos for you. Leave me a comment down below. It can be random. It can be a question, even though I'm not answering too many questions on YouTube right now, but simply do it to help me. But here's what's going to help you. Smash the subscribe and make sure you've hit the bell, and to all alerts, especially new viewers and returning viewers, make sure that all alerts are hit, because a lot of this is time-sensitive information, especially today's analysis, which is a short-term time frame. Allow me to deliver it to you in a time-sensitive fashion. Let's get back to these charts. Here we go. Follow me on Twitter, close to these two. You get frequent updates on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly and live up to 8 times a week. Links to the Discord community within the description section of all my videos. If you don't want to join an online community, but you want information and exclusive content above and beyond what is offered for free on YouTube, click the join button below this video, and another video will pop up describing your options to you. That's the first layer, and I have them all labeled. I would strongly suggest drawing this line and this line on your chart. Okay, it could be of great relevance, and if you are clicking around with your money and or just trying to do TA, this will help you turn on a dime if you see the shorter time frames interacting with these in bearish ways, using it as resistance, for example, right? In an area where you really don't know what's going to happen, you just got to kind of flip on a dime when the charts tell you to. Now, the next layer is the micro range, what I'm calling micro range for February. Zoom out. Look, what's this? This is the 3/4 line, right? So bottom of the range, 1/4 line, half line, which is the point of control, and then in this case, it's a box, like the half court in basketball type of deal. 3/4 line, end, right? Or almost like a soccer pitch. Goal here, halfway down the field, so on and so forth. Bitcoin is at its 3/4 line on this chart, which happens to align also with the 3 things I talked about earlier: the 1 hour 200 EMA, the origin line, and the support line, which it's also there. But this, for right now, is acting as possible support. What you want to watch out for here is if this line at about 37, how did I label it? At 37,400, if Bitcoin, uses either this as resistance and uses that as resistance, you could bet your bottom dollar you would have a very, very strong edge that the point of control will then be tested down closer to at least 35.70. That's how you interpret that. So you can flip on a dime and take on different positions, or, bail out of your longs, especially if you were to see that 3/4 line used. Now, that's the micro range, right? Oh yeah, and what does the monthly open align with? This is the monthly open, remember? What does that align with? It aligns with the 7/8 line up here, which has gotten a lot of these tops pretty well, right? You got a lot of stuff going on that this overlaying. Now let's take that off and put on the macro range, for which I'll have to zoom out. This is the macro range. Price just bounced off the quarter box, or the quarter line, went up to the 3/8 line, which is where it's at now. And we're going to zoom into that. Got rejected by the 3/8 line, rejected by the 3/8 line, got above the 3/8 line, lost the 3/8 line with this origin line. If price can't get, and what also does this 3/8 line align with? It's just a little bit higher than the monthly open. It's just that much more stuff that other, different types of traders using different time frames are eyeballing in order to start selling into it. Therefore, this line somewhere around the monthly open is going to act as pretty dang heavy resistance. And if Bitcoin were to get over it, all right, save a fake out. Like, fake outs can come in all forms. But the next target up is the point of control box up here at 41,350. However, fake outs do happen all the time, right? Like it can just come straight up, make it look like it's going up there, and then turn right back around. Save fake outs. That would be the next area of interest. There's not a whole lot in between, and if things were to come up and turn back around, that would be considered a fake out. These are the things that you need. So you see how everything is just layered on top of each other. It doesn't matter what time frames and what indicators or whatever you're looking at. A lot of stuff is aligning right here, and that is not always the case in Bitcoin. Sometimes you have, kind of a spread on how things play and interact with each other. But right now with Bitcoin doing this, flighty price action for about, let's say from that point, about almost 10 days now, things are converging, and it looks like, a move. Wow, there is a wicked blizzard happening outside of my house. Holy cow, it's coming down. All right. I live in the Midwest of the United States, and it is it looks like I'm in a snow globe, like somebody just shook it up. That is for real. Like snow isn't falling down, it is going up and sideways and all that stuff. But anyway, these are all the things that I would be looking out for. Now, if I had to make a guess, okay, so Tim, make a guess. Everybody's, hey, make a guess. Well, at this point, I think it's better not to make a guess, but rather know which points to, be nimble on your toes for. That's how I would play this. But I will try to make a guess. If I were forced to make one guess, let's go ahead and get rid of the macro range, put on the micro range. I would guess that near the end of today's daily Bitcoin candle, price comes actually really just in this box. So as high as 37.9, and then tomorrow's another red day. And tomorrow itself could hit 35, but I'm guessing 3 red days in a row. I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 candle correction. Therefore, my guess here is 1, 2 with wicks and stuff. 3, closure maybe here, something like that. That would be my guess over the next 3 days. But I know the exact points because of all these areas that are aligning. If price on the very small time frames, on the 1 hour, 15 minute, or whatever you want to do, if you could see price, get up here and dance on it for a bit, right? That does increase the probability that it comes higher than that guess. And therefore, because even though I made a guess, I know when to flip. Does that make sense? Or I know when the probabilities of that happening change because I know I have the guidance on my chart and I can zoom into the small time frames. Does that make sense? That's why it's okay for content creators not to say, oh, it's going here. Like, honestly, people who do that, I don't know. I don't think you should do that. It's not the wisest thing. I mean, the very few times I've really done that, oh, it's going here. It bit me in the ass, first off. And therefore, if I'm creating content that bites myself in the ass, then it's going to bite other people's ass. I mean, no one knows where this is going. Therefore, it's wise to make a few guesses on the possible price paths and then know the exact points in which one becomes more or less probable. Does that make sense? And so in this video, I've shown you how larger time frames are aligning with smaller time frames right now, which aren't giving the signal for up and down, but it gives a little bit of more bias to the downside. I would say 60-40. Now, does Bitcoin go lower than 35K? I don't know, but I think right now it's a 60-40 chance that Bitcoin won't get back up above 38K over the next, day and a half, and we're getting ready to go visit at least 35.7, something to that effect. That would be my specific guess. However, this is the most important thing. My guess doesn't really matter. Hopefully the content has shown you how to know when that begins being probably wrong. Does that make sense? And hopefully that's the value. My guess, hopefully, is not the value of this video. It honestly almost never should be. Rather, it's giving you the tools on how to adjust and, on knowing when to adjust on the fly. If you want to learn how to set up a chart just like mine, best 28-minute you can spend in crypto. It is a TradingView tutorial on how to set up a chart. Take a look. If you're new to crypto, it'll be very worth it. And if you missed my long-term Bitcoin analysis on what 2022 might bring for us, 7 different options, click this video right here. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed, hit the circle in the middle. You just got Tim of Ad worldwide. Peace.